middle. To the end zone. It's Robinson for the touchdown.
What's up, everybody, and good morning. Welcome into another episode of Out of High Bear Nation right here on the Undefeated Sports Network. As always, I am Tarbill. To my left is Angelo Ace Camacho, and down below we've got our guy Vince Turtle Mucci. It's Bears-Packers Day, boys. How we doing?
Christmas morning.
Yeah, it's a lot more exciting than it seemed earlier in the week.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously, before we get into it here, everyone knows that early in the week it was looking like it was going to be the Nate Peterman show, and the Bears would throw 5 picks and look like absolute dog shit. Now all of a sudden, Justin Fields back in, full participant in practice the last 2 days of the week, and all of a sudden we're looking at a completely different matchup here, guys. So obviously Justin Fields playing, Aaron Rodgers is going to be out there as well. No surprise there. He said on McAfee on Tuesday that his thumb was x-rayed. It was looking better. He's going to play. So LaFleur made that official on Wednesday, and then they moved forward with Rodgers as their starter. A lot on the line for both of these teams, I guess, in today's matchup. Obviously, with where the Bears are right now, they're pretty much completely out of playoff contention. But if the Packers lose to the Bears today, they are basically mathematically eliminated. So a lot riding on the game in that aspect, and we got to see Fields out there and being healthy, making smart decisions today. But I say we go ahead and get right on into it, fellas, and
Let's go.
our first topic at hand is none other than Justin Fields. So as previously alluded, Fields is cleared. Will this injury linger? What can we expect from this offense? Namely, how does Justin Fields play in his first week back? So we saw with Mitchell Trubisky when he had the non-throwing shoulder injury that it completely changed the way that he played and approached the game. I don't think we're going to see that same issue with Justin, but I do think the coaches are going to scheme him out of harm's way, as they should, because he's just such a competitor that he's going to dive to get that extra yard every time. And unfortunately, sometimes when you do that as a quarterback, you're putting yourself in harm's way. So what's your guys' thoughts on Justin today? What do we see out of him in the offense? And what's it look like here moving forward, really?
Well, so last week 2 when the Bears played the Packers, Fields was 7 for 11 with 70 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. He ran the ball 8 times for 20 yards. I don't see a game even close to that today. I see him throwing a little bit more, but I still think that they get him out of the pocket. They let him use his legs, because his legs are really, at this point this year, the best asset they have with him, right? Getting him out, getting him mobile. He keeps his eyes downfield. If it's there, get rid of the ball. If it's not, pick it up with his legs. I think he takes bigger hits. I know that he got hurt on a scramble play and a called draw play, but I think he gets hit harder when he stays in the pocket than if they're able to get him out of the pocket and he can get down or get out of bounds.
Absolutely agree there, Ace. I think that, you see it time and time again when these quarterbacks run up the middle. Let's look at Trey Lance and his injury, right? That was a rush up the middle, and, you get 4 or 5 guys on you. That's when you get in trouble. Fields, Fields is elusive. He's quick. He's able to get to the edge. We got a comment here in the chat. Under 52 today. I don't know. This could be a high-scoring game. I mean, we'll get into that a little bit later on in the show, but
the Packers' defense is terrible against the run. So
right.
The Packers' defense is terrible against everything.
That's true. That's
I
true.
mean, really. I
but
mean,
the Bears' offense really isn't that great, other than running the ball. You know
well,
what
I mean, so if you look at the way they're set up, I mean, obviously, you kind of alluded to it. Obviously, Monday, all we heard was Peterman versus Jordan Love for Bears Packers, and it was like, this doesn't kind of have that same Bears Packers feel.
Not even close.
Then it was, Aaron Rodgers is going to play, so now the Bears are going to get annihilated again because it'll be Aaron Rodgers against Nathan Peterman. Excuse me. Now we get to, the last couple days where he's a surprise full participant in practice, and now we get the Rodgers versus Justin Fields that we've, kind of been hoping we would get since the beginning of the year. I think Fields is going to never have a game where he runs for 20 yards again. I think, like, in the rest of his career, I think he'll always have more than that. Whether it's 100, I don't know about that, but I think he'll be plus 50 rushing yards today. And I think you'll see him throw the ball. I think the perfect formula for Justin Fields, what I think you'd like to see around 20 to 22 attempts, through the air and, about 50 yards on the ground. When he's doing that, I think it's gonna be hard to slow down this offense. I'm kind of the minority, the no Darnell Mooney. I think it might. I'm kind of excited for no Darnell Mooney the rest of the year for Justin. I think it might. Okay. I think it's too easy for him to lock in on Darnell Mooney. So maybe without him, he learns to kind of go through his progressions and kind of trust some of his other receivers. Byron Pringle had the touchdown catch. That was a very good catch. He runs good routes. St. Brown, in his role where he only has to kind of take the top off the defense, he does that well. And then you get the wild card of Chase Claypool, the Joker, if you will. Everybody wants to see Chase Claypool go out there and have 10 catches for 150 yards and 2 touchdowns every week.
Yeah.
Maybe he becomes that. Justin's got a very good deep ball, and Chase is very good at going downfield and fighting for the ball at the highest point. Against like Ace said, the Packers don't stop the run very well. So maybe they try to, we're going to make Justin beat us through the air. And with our Darnell Mooney, maybe we get to, see some of these other receivers and Cole Kmet kind of continue to take some steps forward with Justin, that then going into next year, he kind of has that chemistry like, I had that last handful of games last year where everybody really kind of did their job.
I agree with that 100%, Turtle. I think as much as it sucks to lose Mooney, right, because he was playing pretty well, I do think it opens the door for especially Kmet and Claypool to really build some more rapport with Justin. And I think it gives Justin a better opportunity to not just automatically think, okay, I'm going to go to Mooney. That's where my first read is. You know what I mean? Now he's going to be able to look at a couple of other guys, and maybe it starts to open up that passing game a little bit more, especially heading into next season.
So, Ace, can you do me a favor and pull up the inactives for today specifically?
Man, you just read my mind.
At the wide receiver position.
I legit just pulled up the inactives for today's game.
Oh, well, what are they then?
Who do we have for receivers as inactive?
Well, first, I went to the Packers first because I wanted to see. They do it both on here, so we're good. So the Packers cornerback Shamir Jean-Charles is out with an ankle. Safety Darnell Savage is out with a foot. Romeo Dobbs with an ankle. David Bakhtiari had an appendectomy.
Yeah, he's never playing, so it doesn't really matter.
Had an appendectomy?
Yeah, that's what it says. Chris Barnes, the linebacker, is out with a hand, and Jonathan Ford is a healthy scratch at defensive line. So it's good. Okay. So just to kind of judge on those, there will be no Romeo Dobbs today. So that's one less guy the Bears have to worry about. Christian Watson has made it the last few games, only getting a couple catches, but having that long touchdown in every game. So we get to the Bears. The Bears is not good, boys.
No, it's not at all.
It's not good. We know the obvious, the Darnell Mooney, the Eddie Jacksons that have been put on IR for the year.
Right.
Following up with those two, we have no Kyler Gordon, no Jaquan Brisker,
which was unfortunately kind of anticipated with the way they were trending this week.
No Kindle Vildor.
Oh man! So what? They're down to their fourth.
And then along with that, Tim Boyle, the new quarterback, is obviously a healthy scratch with Justin playing.
Right.
Kieri Blasingame, our fullback, is inactive. And Larry Borum is also inactive today.
So that means
the Bears,
both N'Keal Harry and Velus Jones are active today.
I'm pretty sure if the three of us went down to Soldier Field, we could be active today.
Possibly. They do need offensive line.
That's right. I could definitely try out for the offensive line.
This Bears unit is turning into the MASH unit. I mean, when you have a team that holds the number 2 draft pick right now, I think it's very easy for a coaching staff to say, "Oh, you're slightly injured. Yeah, you're not going to play today."
I agree.
So yeah, I definitely.
And it's just kind of where we're at this point.
Alluding back to Justin Fields and Vince, you said something I really liked there about Mooney being out and him having to go to other options kind of by force, right? He doesn't have that comfort, that check down almost in Mooney. Even when Mooney's not necessarily the check down, he might be going to him more than he should just because that's his guy and they have that chemistry. So going back to that, you look at Justin Fields now, obviously, if Velus Jones and N'Keal Harry are playing today, we get to see in Velus Jones maybe what we actually have, because to this point, all we've seen is him drop returns.
I don't know that it's a slam dunk that we see Velus in the passing game today.
I mean, at this point in the season, though, what would
you have to see what you have out of him,
right? Right. Even if it's just a few more plays than he's normally playing.
So the problem is he's going to be where he is on the depth chart, and that's at the bottom.
Right.
You're still going to have Chase Claypool. You're still going to have Byron Pringle. You're still going to have Anekwia St. Brown. You're still going to have N'Keal Harry. So, I mean, at the very best, he's what, 5th on your depth chart?
Yeah.
He's probably behind Pettis, so he's probably
I forgot about Dante.
Because for some reason, the coaching staff loves Dante Pettis.
I think they just like that he's
I mean,
quick,
he's quick, and he's your give it everything you got kind of guy.
Right.
You know, he reminds me of and I'm gonna date myself here and make myself sound old, but he reminds me of Hunter Hillenmeyer that used to play linebacker for the Bears. He was like, he had this great mind, knew where to be. He just wasn't quite good enough to be there.
Right.
It's like a more recent Bear when we had Nick I can't say his last name, but Kwiatkowski. He was, another player like that who was just very football minded, but couldn't get to the play. Hell, Jack Sanborn's that way right now. I mean, ultimately, though, guys, what I wanted to allude to there is maybe we see more distribution of the ball out of Justin Fields, and it's a good thing for this team moving forward. I think they run east-west more with Justin today and try to get the safeties and corners to come up and bite that he's running, and then you see him throw it downfield.
Kind of like he did with that. What was it? Montgomery,
late in the third
where he
quarter,
kind of pointed him out and then dropped it right over the top.
Yeah. I think we see a lot more of that today. That was kind of my one sticking point with the Justin Fields discussion, is that I think we see that, hey, he fakes him out and makes him think he's going to beat him with his legs, and then he drops the ball in the basket over the top, which would be good because all these old-time analysts want to see Justin Fields throw for 300 yards. Maybe he does it today. As we move forward, chasing a ghost, we already alluded to it with Darnell Mooney done for the year. Will we finally see Chase Claypool shine? I think Chase Claypool has a touchdown today. I think they are going to be more aggressive pushing the ball downfield to him, whether that is for a 40 to 50 yard catch and touchdown, or it's a PI call that gets the ball down the field, I think you see them be more aggressive with Claypool, because he's another guy that you really ultimately need to see what you have in him moving forward, so you know after next year what you're going to do, right? Ultimately,
Right.
if he doesn't perform kind of up to the standard that they expect him to through the end of the year, next season might be tough. So,
Well, they targeted him. He was targeted 5 times last week, and he had 2 receptions, 52 yards. One of those was a 31-yard pass. But, I mean, at this point, you have to – now with Mooney out, I think you're going to see them try to force feed him a little bit more than they would have.
That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, what I really want to see, man, is I want to see them tailor the offense to, still allow Justin to run, but also I think he needs to really focus on making more downfield passes so that he can learn, even if he throws an interception, okay, what did I do wrong on this play that led to that interception? Because without doing it, doing those reps, even going into next season, he's still not going to feel comfortable doing that.
Well, and I think that's the biggest thing, right? You saw it a little bit with Trevor Siemian, who by no means is a world beater. Excuse me. He was just trusting his receivers to go out there and catch the ball. The Pringle catch in the end zone. He had one to St. Brown that was kind of the same way. Just giving those guys really 50-50 balls at best and letting the receiver take a chance. And obviously that for Justin Fields, he hasn't done that thus far this season, really. He's been very conservative and taken the sure thing most of the time. And then when he does have interceptions or turnovers, it's usually kind of a head scratcher. Like, why would you throw the ball right there and it bounces off the guy's helmet? Or why would you try to go to the tight end there on the sideline and force the interception? Like, ultimately, we haven't seen a lot of like just blatant deep downfield passes that end up being a turnover for Justin. And kind of as you alluded to, Ace, I'm okay with if we throw 1 or 2 picks in a game and we're still scoring, 28 plus points per game, and there's a couple turnovers that are growing pains there in the short term. I think that's something we as Bears fans can deal with, because it's giving Justin Fields that confidence factor. And then if he does throw a pick and it's a turnover, it's something that he can learn from and go back on the tape and say, okay, I need to hit the back shoulder on this throw, or whatever the case may be. I think they need to be more aggressive and let him take more shots down the field, because we've seen time and time again watching his tape that he's got the deep ball accuracy. So it's frustrating that they haven't really incorporated the deep ball accuracy as much as they should. But I think going back to Chase, I think if he can get open today downfield, they'll definitely be more willing to take those shot plays on first and second down.
Yeah, I think, the problem with the deep ball is, unfortunately, the Bears haven't pass blocked very well this year. So I think a lot of it is just, let's not set Justin up for holding onto the ball when we know we can't block well enough for the receivers to get down there.
I mean, every deep ball should be a bootleg or a play action almost, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think for me today, I'd like to see, 18 to 22 pass attempts. I think you'll see 9+ targets to Chase Claypool, as long as we're not going 3 and out every time and the plays are limited. If the offense runs about the amount of plays we've been running every week, I think you'll see Chase Claypool with 9+ targets. And whether that's the coaching staff saying, okay, we're going to force it to Chase, or it's kind of just Justin saying, well, I don't have Darnell Mooney to throw to, so I'm just going to kind of lock in on where Chase Claypool is at.
So what you're saying is anybody who plays fantasy football should pick up Chase Claypool as a bridge player this week.
I said 9 targets. I didn't say 9 catches.
Yeah, he's still got to make the catches. I think his most catches he's had in a game is 2.
I mean, I think obviously it's set up for him to have a breakout few games here to end the season. like you guys said, I know we were kind of joking about it, but there's some truth to it. I'd like to see. I think you're going to see it whether we want it or not. Them establish the ground game with Montgomery and Justin. But then I'd like to see them use the bootlegs and the play action bootleg to set up a deep pass. And Green Bay
that's exciting football. That's what I want to see, right?
Well, I mean, Green Bay hasn't had a great pass rush all year. I think
Savage is out, as you said, which will help that significantly.
Right. And I think they misstepped when they let Preston Smith go and Zadarius Smith. I think they didn't always perform at a high level, and I think they kind of thought they weren't getting enough out of them. And now we see without them in that Green Bay defense, they just haven't really had that bite going after the quarterback. So I think things set up well. I think they're going to protect Justin, but at the same time, Justin Fields, Justin Fields, Trey Lance, Lamar Jackson, a lot of these guys, you can't just say, okay, well, we're going to limit what they do. You just have to let them play who they are.
Right.
So you bring up Trey Lance there, and obviously with the injury early in the season that he suffered, the 49ers haven't really seen who he is. I think that team's going to be dangerous when that kid's healthy. Not to get off the Bears topic, but I don't know, with as much as Jimmy Garoppolo has succeeded in that offense, I think Lance is going to make that offense that much more dynamic. But moving forward here, guys, because we have limited time this morning, it ain't easy being cheesy. So Rodgers 23-5 versus the Bears, 65 touchdowns and 5 picks. Can the Bears turn the tide in this rivalry? Ultimately, guys, the biggest question here is, will Justin Fields be able to perform at a high enough level to beat Aaron Rodgers? So I think, yes, I think today is the day that the Bears finally pull one out against Aaron Rodgers, and I'm excited for that aspect. What do you guys think? Do you think we have a chance here, or so you're saying there's a chance, or
I mean, there's always a chance, right? But every time I get any sort of excited about the Bears potentially beating the Packers, I am extremely let down. Except for 5 times. 5 times I haven't been let down. But I think 3 of those times Rodgers wasn't even playing in the game and the Bears ended up winning. I think for the Bears to win this game, I say it every time the Bears play the Packers, you have to keep Rodgers off the field, right? The Bears have a top running game. I know Khalil Herbert isn't playing, which was he was doing really well before he got injured. I think you see a big game from Montgomery and Fields combined. I think they realize the best way to win this game is to make sure that the clock is just moving, keeps running. So you're going to see a lot of short screen passes, maybe some slants that I would like to see. Fields with his legs, I think we're going to see that a lot today. As much as I want them to win, it's not really in their best interest to win.
Right. Ultimately, because you get that draft pick positioning, if you lose again today, you've got the number 2 pick, right? And
yes,
if you win, that changes a few spots, which at that high in the draft, as we've talked before, Ace, 1 through 5, the drop-off in talent in this draft is so significant. I mean,
especially at the quarterback position.
You've got 2 quarterbacks. You've got Bryce Young and CJ Stroud, and that's it.
Right.
I mean, that guy from Kentucky is going to go way higher than he should just because of the lack of quality quarterbacks going into this draft. So I think the Bears finally pull one out against Aaron Rodgers here, but ultimately it may hurt us in the long term more than it helps us. What's your thoughts, Turtle?
I mean, the Packers are going to win this game. I mean, I don't really think there's anything else to say about it. If it's a huge if, the Bears are going to win this game, it's going to be exactly like Ace said. It's going to be because they just limit the amount of times Rodgers gets on the field.
Because that defense is not stopping.
If Rodgers gets on the field 5 times, they're going to score at least 24 points.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just,
Packers suck.
I mean, let's just be honest. You have no Eddie Jackson.
Nope.
You have no Jaquan Brisker, so you're without your starting safeties. You have no Kyler Gordon. You have no Kendall Vildor. So now you're down. Your number
You got DHC starting probably.
Your audio,
Yeah,
you're without your number 2 and number 3 corners and your number 1 and number 2 safeties, and the defense isn't that good with all of them in there.
Is Jalen Johnson playing today?
Yeah,
he was one name that I missed. So
I mean, it's just that simple, right? Like they have nobody. Jalen Johnson is legit going to be on an island today.
Yeah, for sure.
They can go to anybody else. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah, I mean, so whether it's Christian Watson, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, Robert Tonyan, I mean, it's just not set up for the Bears to win, which is fine. I'm okay with that. Like, I don't even want the Bears to win at this point this year. I just want the best draft pick we can get, but I want Justin Fields to look good. So it's like we talked about earlier in the season. We're back to that point again. We want to see Justin look good. We want to see him look healthy because he's out there playing off an injury. We want to see him do all the things we want him to do, but the Packers are going to win. And that's okay.
And I know people are going to be like, "Oh, you guys aren't Bears fans. You think if I hate that narrative, like, oh, you're not a fan if you criticize the team. I think you're more of a fan if you're realistic about the situation that the team is in. This team is not. If you look at the injuries and you look at Aaron Rodgers on the other side of the field, 1 + 1 = 2. He's not going to be able to
that simple.
They couldn't stop Mike White, man.
And then, I mean, let's be honest, like, it's not like the three of us are on here saying, "Oh, we want the Packers to win. We're rooting for the Packers." Like, I would love to see the Bears beat Aaron Rodgers. Absolutely love it.
Just giving your realistic analysis of the situation,
they're just not set up to win today.
With seeing the quarterbacks that the Bears have played recently and the success that those quarterbacks have had, Rodgers is clearly better than all of them.
Right. Like,
I don't know. Rodgers, since he drank that ayahuasca, ain't the same quarterback.
I know the Packers haven't really looked good this year and all this and that, but at the end of the day, it's still Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
He's still a very competent quarterback. He's still way better than average.
Ayahuasca or not.
And without so many of these defensive starters, there's just, I mean, it just is like we said, it's just being realistic.
There was like no game other than the Bears that he really gets
correct. And then you're going to get Aaron Rodgers that really gets up for the Bears.
And he's in Chicago, so he's going to make it a point today to come out and try to embarrass the Bears, and he probably will succeed.
Right.
And you're going to have Packer fans who are like, "Oh, Bears suck." Like, yeah, they do.
Right.
They do.
Packers suck.
That defense is awful.
Right.
But you know what? There is one person at Soldier Field today that might be able to bring the motivation to the Bears.
Are you like trying to mock me? I kind of understand.
Jay
Cuddy's
Cutler
at the game today?
is at the game signing autographs. The Bears posted a little video. He's there. Maybe he can talk.
Maybe he can throw a jersey on and he can hand it off to Justin Fields.
Oh, get out of here. All right, guys, before we wrap up, let's get into our weekly segment, the Bare Bones, each and every week here on USN's premier pregame show, Out of Hibernation. We give you guys the 3 keys to a Bears victory. Let's get into it. All right, guys, as I alluded to, each and every week we go through the Bare Bones segment, our 3 keys to a Bears victory. This week, no different. We have our 3 keys to victory here today, as we've already alluded to. Previously, Justin Fields is going to be number 1. Can Justin Fields perform at the level that he has in previous weeks and continue to show us that he is trending in the right direction? Ultimately, that is the most important factor of this game, because we need to know that our franchise quarterback, and yes, I am calling him the franchise quarterback now of the Chicago Bears team, is right and can do all the things that he does so well. What do you guys think about Justin? You think he's going to trend up or down today?
I think
Just
he
real
comes out
quick.
and makes a point today to show everybody that he's who we want him to be. I think this is a game where
They are who we thought they were.
I think the offense is going to be able to keep up for the most part, but the Bears aren't always going to be able to put up points. It's just
Right.
they're going to keep up to an extent. I don't see how the defense stops Rodgers unless he makes a stupid mistake. But I do see Fields coming out, and I'm hoping for about 60, 65 yards on the ground, and if we can get to like 180 through the air, I think that the Bears will have a chance.
And
I mean,
go ahead.
I think he's going to come out. I think he's going to look good. I mean, it's knock on wood. It's been a while since he's looked bad. I think we're to the point where I agree with you. He is the franchise quarterback. He is who we all hoped he would be, and even who some of us didn't think he was going to be. I think he's.
Hey, look at that. Vince saying Justin Fields is the franchise quarterback. I mean,
if you look at his body of work over the last 4 or 5 weeks, I think you've seen him take those steps every single week. So now you're getting everything you wanted from him on the field. He's exactly who you hoped he would be off the field. He's the guy that will play every week. He's the guy that understands the game and says, look, the defense put us in a spot to win, and the offense didn't do it. He's willing to accept the blame.
Look at last week, Trevor Siemian, right? He was injured pregame, and he made it a point to say, hey, Justin's been going out there getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
The least I can do is get us through this game.
Right.
That's what you want in your starting quarterback, is somebody who inspires your team to.
Right. He makes everybody else better football players.
Exactly. And now Trevor Siemian's having season-ending surgery. So
right. So he
basically gave you 1 week to say, I know I'm going to be out the rest of the year, but I'll get you this game.
Right.
Right.
And just to quickly finish up the Justin Fields thing, I think excuse me. I think, like I said, I think he's going to get about 50 to 65 yards running, probably around 200 passing, because I think they will be able to move the ball against this Packers defense. I just don't think it'll be enough to keep up with the defense. Won't be able to do enough to keep the offense in the game.
Right. I agree.
And that takes us right into the second point, man. As you alluded, the defense is just not going to be able to do enough in today's game. Unfortunately, it's the sad reality of the situation that we're in, given the fact that Justin Fields and the offense can score points. Now the defense can't stop a cold. So we've completely flipped the script as to what we're used to as Chicago Bears fans. And unfortunately, now we can score points, but we can't stop anybody. Thirdly, to wrap this up, guys, Luke Getsy and the coaching staff. The coaching staff has to do the right thing and protect Justin Fields today, right? That's ultimately the biggest thing. Is you cannot go out here and let this guy re-injure the shoulder, and then he's got a season-ending injury, or even worse, something that lingers into the offseason and hurts his development for next year. I don't want you to be 100% conservative. Let him run the ball, but do it in a smart way. No runs up the middle designed, in my opinion. I think every designed run that you have for Justin is a run to the outside. As Ace alluded to earlier, that gives them the option to let him get out of bounds and or take the slide a little bit easier. Then he'll probably get hit in the helmet and it won't get called anyway. So
I think
thoughts on the coaching staff, guys.
Well, real quick, I was just going to say, if you think back to the Giants game that the Bears played, remember how Daniel Jones was able to basically, as long as they did that bootleg, he was able to pick up yards. I think that's going to be a similar game plan that the Bears implement today. Is what the Giants did against the Bears. Is they utilize Saquon Barkley, they utilize Daniel Jones's legs. I see a situation where I think it's going to be run heavy to start, but
develop into pass heavy.
Yeah, I think they're going to try to get Justin comfortable, couple quick passes, screens, all that stuff, and then a couple play actions to draw the defense in, and hopefully get that Chase Claypool touchdown, deep touchdown that we're all hoping to see today.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot less design quarterback runs. Just because the fact that I don't even think it's because of the shoulder. I think it's just everybody can kind of figure that's what Green Bay is going to come in and try to stop, right? Like now that's who you've become as an offense.
Right.
Well, if we can stop Justin Fields from running the football and force him to throw the ball, we're in a better shape to win the game. Now
Make him play quarterback.
Now it's time for the Bears offense to counter that and say, look, this kid can throw the ball too. Like, you know, he's not afraid to throw the ball. He's not afraid to go downfield. So I think you're going to see, you know, if it was me, and I mean, shit, this would be me every game if I was the Bears. But that first play of the game, I'm going play action to Montgomery and going on a bomb to Chase Claypool. Like,
I think you're right. I think
like
if you're
just go deep, bro. Like just run by him, and Justin's going to throw you the ball.
It's kind of like what we talked about just a few minutes ago, where you have to start establishing that passing threat, right? And the best thing to do is to give Justin these reps to get him more confident. I don't care if he throws 5 interceptions today. If they're making an attempt to move the ball downfield, I won't care if he's throwing interceptions. Now, if he's throwing interceptions and then making the same boneheaded mistake on the next couple plays, then yes, then that's something to be concerned about. But if he's throwing them and then able to make the adjustment needed, that's what we want to see. But that's what we've also seen all season, right? We've seen him, if he's struggled with something, he's worked on that to get better. And he's done that since, especially the Commanders game.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think today is going to be an interesting game. I think we do see Fields step up in a big way, and the coaching staff ultimately helps him stay smart, I don't want to say conservative, but just stay healthy. That's what it all boils down to. So, as always, guys, we appreciate each and every one.
Hold on. Before you go, I know we're only 5 minutes to kickoff. I just have to tell you a little bit of breaking news that was broke about 20 minutes ago while we were on the air.
Go ahead.
The final college football rankings have come out, and it is number 1 Georgia, number 2 Michigan, number 3 TCU stays at number 3. And Ohio State number 4. Alabama left out of the playoffs. Very
anticipated that.
Very gutsy and bold move by the board that makes these. I thought for sure it would be Georgia, Michigan, Ohio State, Bama. Hopefully TCU.
TCU deserves it, man. Bama has not played.
Yeah, but a lot of times you get these teams where they have, we're undefeated, and then they lose a game. And it's like, well, you lost a game. You're not in the playoffs. So very, very bold move. We'll see if hopefully TCU can represent better than like when the Notre Dames and teams like that get in and they just absolutely get blown out.
Yep.
Agreed. All right, now that you've hurt my feelings, Vince, let's wrap this up for the day.
Come on.
Packers suck.
Now,
I just told you I thought Bama should be in.
We appreciate each and every one of you guys joining us this morning. Thank you to our loyal followers and listeners. Be sure to go follow the Undefeated Sports Network. We are on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and soon to be on Spotify. We are working on getting the audio-only pod up for you guys. More news to come on that in the coming weeks. With that being said, thanks for joining us, guys. Let's go Bears. Have a good day.
See ya.